Well, shalom everybody, and welcome to this fascinating and very important series looking at the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. That is the short version or the reference version of the Code of Jewish Law. And we're up to Siman Dalet, that is Siman 4. And it is entitled Proper Behaviour in the Bathroom and the Laws of the Asher Yatzar Blessing. Now, the Asher Yatzar Blessing refers to the bracha that we say after we relieve ourselves. And the actual name of the blessing, Asher Yatzar, refers to the first two significant words that are uttered in that blessing, which is pretty much across the board with the names of all the brachot that we learn, and is also the case with the weekly Torah portions. Now, the reason that they give the first two words that are specific to each bracha, because all the brachas start with an introduction, blessing Hashem, is to help with just memorization, basically. And the word Yatzar, some of you may be familiar with in relation to the Yatzar Tov and the Yatzar Hara, which is the good and the evil inclination. And time permitting, at the end, I will read through the Asher Yatzar, just so you can get some of an idea of what it is we're actually thanking Hashem for, and how we should be in awe of being able to be blessed to be able to relieve ourselves, because it's a miraculous event, even though it's something that we're so familiar with, so it becomes mundane in our minds. It is actually a very miraculous thing that we're able to do. So the subheadings or the subjects that are within this particular Siman that are explored are regularly attending to one's needs, proper behavior in the bathroom, and the laws, as I've mentioned, of the Asher Yatzar. Now, number one, let's get straight into it. One should accustom himself to relieve himself, both in the evening and in the morning, as this habit is the way of preparedness and proper hygiene. Now, this is teaching us that we can actually control our bodily needs and control when we need to go to the bathroom, when we don't need to go, to a greater or lesser extent. This is notwithstanding the case if one drinks excessive water, maybe if they go to the gym or exercise, or if you eat more than usual, perhaps at a festive gathering or something like that. But on the whole, we can accustom ourselves to roughly go to the bathroom to do number one, number two at specific times during the day. Reference to the way of preparedness and proper hygiene. It is really speaking in terms of convenience. So most of us have secular jobs, and it's not really a good look to be spending most of your day or frequently spending your day going to the bathroom when you're on the clock with your employer and your time technically isn't your own. And by going in the morning or in the evening or both, you kind of know where you stand in terms of your body's requirements. So it's a very good thing to do, and it is teaching us that we can actually control the times when we need to go for the most part. If when he attempts to find that he is unable to relieve himself, he should walk 4 amos, which is roughly 2.3 meters, and then sit down and try again. If this does not help, he should repeat this procedure, standing up and sitting down until he relieves himself. And the footnote for that reads, both walking and standing and sitting stimulate the muscles of the large intestine, which helps to move the waste to the outside of the body. Or one should divert his attention from other things and concentrate exclusively when relieving himself. And this is very much a practice I came across when I was training, when I was into fitness and bodybuilding, that it was important to actually, whatever muscle groups you were actually working out at the time, is to actually try to think about them and visualize them in the actual actions of the movements that you were doing. And this is very much a similar scenario here when one really knows that they need to go to the bathroom. One who holds back his bodily functions thereby transgresses the commandment of the verse in Vayikra 20:25, do not make yourselves abominable. And in terms of holding back bodily functions, the footnote reads, i.e. he resists his body's urge to urinate and defecate. And 5, this is referring to the verse referred to in Vayikra 20:25. According to many authorities, this does not mean that this practice is biblically prescribed. It is rather a rabbinic injunction for which this verse serves as scriptural support. See Mishnah Berurah 92:7. In brackets, it is permitted to refrain from relieving oneself temporarily to preserve human dignity. For example, if one needs to find a private place. Do not make yourselves abominable. In addition, In addition, one who holds himself back from urinating when he feels the need further transgresses the commandment in a verse in Devarim, Deuteronomy 7:14. There shall be no sterile male among you. And the footnote for that one reads, this verse teaches that one is forbidden to do anything that may cause sterility, that is the inability to father children. One who retains urine rather, when he feels the need to relieve himself, places himself in danger of becoming sterile. And we know that most of the, well, if not all of the medical world pretty much agrees with that. And it's interesting to note that the medical scientific world always seems to be catching up with what the Torah already knows. Save 2, a person must behave modestly in the bathroom. He should not expose himself until he is ready to sit, and even then he should minimize his exposure and expose only that which is necessary for him to expose, so as not to soil his clothing. And the footnote to that reads, in public restrooms, a God-fearing person should, if possible, even when only urinating, do so in a cubicle with the door closed rather than in a urinal without partitions that is open to the entire room. Which is just amazing. One must be careful in this even at night, just as he must behave that way during the day. One who is relieving himself in an open area that has nearby walls should direct himself so that he will be facing south and his back toward north, or vice versa. However, to turn so that his body is aligned from the east to the west is prohibited. Why? According to the footnotes, the divine presence resides in the west, thus it is not proper to expose oneself to the west, the direction of the divine presence, or to the east, the direction that the divine presence faces, according to Mishnah Berurah 3:10. If there is a wall nearby, he may relieve himself in any direction. As long as his back is toward the wall, it is permitted to urinate in any direction, even in an open area, provided that there is a wall nearby. One should not relieve himself in the presence of any other person, and even to do so before an adulterer is prohibited. However, to urinate is permitted even during the day and in public, if necessary, since there is a danger in holding oneself back. Nevertheless, it is proper to move off to the side whenever possible. Save 3. One should not relieve himself, i.e. defecate while standing, and one should not force himself to defecate by straining himself excessively so as not to cause the muscles that hold the rectum in place to tear. And the footnote to that reads, literally the teeth of the rectum refers to the muscles of the anal sphincter, which are situated at the end of the anal canal near the rectal orifice. They are referred to as teeth because the folds of the muscles and their shape and arrangement are similar to that of a row of teeth. One should not hasten to leave the bathroom until he is sure that he no longer needs to relieve himself further. When standing while urinating, he should be mindful that the urine not drip onto his shoes or clothing. Nevertheless, he should be very careful when urinating not to hold his organ of circumcision with his hands. Elsewhere, you can read in one of the other Siman, I can't remember which one it is, but I do refer to it in the video, wasting seed, that one may hold his organ of circumcision if his wife is in the same city as he is, or in some sort of close proximity to him. And it explains why they're a little bit in that Siman. So if you get a chance, you haven't already watched that video, do so if you can. Save 4, it is forbidden to contemplate Torah thoughts while in the bathroom, as explained below in 5.2. Therefore, while he is there, it is proper to think about one's business and financial calculations, so that he'd not come to think Torah thoughts or simple thoughts, Elohim forbid. Now, obviously, if he's going to the toilet on Sabbath, that he shouldn't be thinking about his business or his work or any type of financial calculations, but be thinking about other things. I've read elsewhere that it's important to try and think about maybe fascinating subjects that are not directly related to Torah, like in years past, I would think about the UFO phenomenon, unsolved mysteries, things pertaining to Bigfoot or something like that aren't directly related to the Torah, to keep my mind focused. It is proper to think about one's business and financial calculations, so that he does not come to think Torah thoughts or sinful thoughts, Elohim forbid. One who finds himself thinking sinful thoughts in the bathroom, this is the footnote, may occupy his mind with Torah topics temporarily if this will serve to drive away the forbidden thoughts from his mind. Mishnah Berurah 8:85-13, you can read about that. When in the bathroom on Shabbos, when one may not think about his business, there you go, he should contemplate fascinating things that he saw, heard, or the like. There you go. Say 5, one should take care to wipe himself well, for if any amount of excrement remains in the anus, it is forbidden for him to recite any sacred texts. One should not wipe himself with his right hand because he uses it to tie tefillin onto his left arm. For the same reason, i.e. for the honor of tefillin, he should not wipe himself with the middle finger of the left hand, for this is the finger around which wraps the strap of the tefillin. A left-handed person should wipe himself with the hand that is considered his left, which is the right hand of all people. Last, save 6, each time that a person defecates or urinates, even if only one drop, he should wash his hands with water and recite the Asher Yatzar blessing. If one urinated or moved his bowels and forgot to recite the Asher Yatzar blessing, and subsequently he urinated or moved his bowels again, and then remembered he did not recite the blessing the first time, he need recite the blessing only once. One who took a laxative and knows that he will have to move his bowels many times until the laxative runs its course should not recite the Asher Yatzar blessing until the effects of the laxative are finished. There you go. So we've finished Siman Dalet, Siman 4, and now, as promised, I'm going to read the Asher Yatzar blessing for you, and it's interesting. And somebody who's not previously familiar with it goes, really? And really, this is something that Orthodox Jews will say whenever they're finished going to the bathroom. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yetzer et hadam b'chachmo uvor nakavim kalulim galoi v'yada lefnei kosei kivudeka she'im yiposei echad mehim o yisatahim echad mehim ei efshar lahaschayam v'la amad lefonecha baruch Ata Adonai rafeh kol basor mafli la'asot, which means in English, blessed are you, Hashem, our Elohim, King of the universe, who fashioned man with wisdom and created within him many openings and many cavities. It is obvious and known before your throne of glory that if one of them were to be ruptured or one of them to be blocked, it would be impossible to survive and stand before you. Blessed are you, Hashem, who heals all flesh and acts wondrously. Isn't that amazing? I hope you found this episode of this series today amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me to this far into the video. Good on you. And until next time, may you be blessed, and bye for now.